oxygen and liquid hydrogen fill and drain valves are closed. T-minus 40 seconds, getting off to Atlantis' computers at T-minus 31. T-minus 35, 33.
T-minus 31 seconds, clear fire.
And we have had a failure. Rattle up sequencer.
Stop the clock.
King game, leave me alone.
Verification for the LCC, please. All right, T-Max?
Okay.
Yes, T-Max, the LCC says we need to verify using a camera, and we're positioning camera 62 right now. Okay, let us know as soon as 62 is flown over. You can verify LCC for GVA retrack, please. And officer, now we're holding here 31 seconds while we get a verification that the GVA has fully retracted. Correctly planned. This is T-Mac, we verify retracted. Okay, and you can verify that it is fully retracted for the instructions that we're being correct? That's correct. All right, and STE? And STE concurs, they satisfy the requirements of GSC 13 pre-pack contingency, I'm go. Okay, I copy. And one second. Yes, sir, I heard all that. Concur. Press on. All right, very good. STE? Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I need concurrence to GOS and ask to clear the hold, please. Very good. And GOS, you have concurrence? Go. Copy that. It didn't work. Thank you. Let us know when that's complete. STE, we have any work?
All right, guys.
Just a reminder for folks, our launch back hold time is 3 minutes and 16 seconds.
So now we're going back to 3 minutes.
We're ready to go. All right, very good. And launch with that cleanup, we're going to go ahead and proceed. Yes, sir, please do. All right, and all personnel, we are going to pick up the clock here momentarily. And GLS, you can resume the clock on your mark. Copy that. Countdown clock will resume on my mark. 3, 2, 1, mark.
T-minus.
Auto sequence start.
And off to Atlantis' computers has occurred.
Can you hear what
Our
you're
rocket
saying?
booster nozzle steering check and work.
We're talking about the space shuttle.
How?
Firing chain is armed.
No, the people on the ground. The people right there. You can hear it?
Go for main
We
engine
have it
start.
set up so they can hear.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. All three engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and liftoff. The final liftoff of Atlantis on the shoulders of the space shuttle. America will continue the dream.
Houston now controlling the flight of Atlantis. The space shuttle spreads its wings one final time for the start of a sentimental journey into history. 24 seconds into the flight, roll program complete. Atlantis now heads down, wings level on the proper alignment for its 8.5-minute ride to orbit. 4.5 million pounds of hardware and humans taking aim on the International Space Station. 40 seconds into the flight, the 3 liquid fuel main engines throttling back to 72% of rated performance in the bucket, reducing stress on the shuttle as it goes transonic for the final time. Engines now revving up, standing by for the throttle up call.
Atlantis, go and throttle up, no action, DPDT. Go and throttle up, no action on DPDT.
That call from Capcom Barry Wilmore, a transducer, instrumentation only, no action required.
The thing's falling.
Here we go. Look.
Atlantis now 15 miles in altitude, already 16 miles downrange from the Kennedy Space Center, 1 minute 40 seconds into the flight. Atlantis flexing its muscles one final time. Atlantis traveling almost 2,600 miles an hour, 21 miles in altitude, 24 miles downrange. Standing by for solid rocket booster separation.
Did it go automatic?
There it goes.
Booster officer confirms staging a good solid rocket booster separation. Guidance now converging. The main engine steering the shuttle on a pinpoint path to its preliminary orbit. 2 minutes, 20 seconds into the flight. Atlantis already traveling 3,200 miles an hour, 35 miles in altitude, 50 miles downrange.
What's everything
The
up there?
propulsion officer reports the orbital maneuvering system engines have ignited. Atlantis kicking on its afterburners for 1 minute, 23 seconds for the final phase of powered flight.
Atlantis, 2-engine TAL. Press the ATO, 10.8. Press the ATO, 14.7. That's a good read back, Atlantis.
Because of the slightly late launch time, Capcom Barry Wilmore reading up to pilot Curley the updated abort boundaries for Atlantis, which is flying on the singular power of its 3 liquid fuel main engines, draining a half a ton of fuel per second from the shuttle's large fuel tank. 3.5 minutes into the flight, Atlantis traveling 4,200 miles an hour, 54 miles in altitude, already 120 miles downrange from the Kennedy Space Center. 3 good main engines, 3 good auxiliary power units, 3 good fuel cells for Atlantis.
Atlantis, negative return. Negative return.
That call from Capcom Barry Wilmore indicating that we're too high in altitude, too far downrange to return to the launch site in the event of an engine failure. However, Atlantis' 3 engines performing perfectly.
Wow.
4 minutes, 20 seconds into the flight.
All listening in as well, and astronaut Katie Coleman is with us. Katie, in terms of what's happening now, what's going on?
Well, they've already gotten rid of the solid rocket boosters. We used up all the fuel, toss them off. Looks like they fall down, but they actually go up another 150,000 feet.
Is that right?
Because they're still on their way. Now, those things actually will land in the ocean vertically,
Really?
get picked up, cleaned out. Could be used again, but in this case, not necessary. I'm sure they'll pick them up and clean them out, though. And now we're just waiting for main engine cutoff, which is going to be 8.5 minutes after launch. And that means they've achieved orbit and they're on their way.
Are they
to
going
space.
to use
You
their
guys
phone?
have seen this a lot. This is the first time I've actually been here for it. It is completely different. It is such a cool experience. The power of it, I mean, we are, how many miles away are we?
5.
5 miles away.
Yeah.
The sound is
You feel it.
deafening. Yeah, you feel it like go through you, and the light is so bright from the boosters that you can barely look at it. I mean, it's such a searing heat.
Television has never done it justice. I mean, that's clear.
Yeah.
Try. I just try to tell people that it's like nothing you've ever seen, and I try to tell people that it's a big deal for people to leave the planet.
Right.
Even though it's gotten to be every day. I mean, that's what the space shuttle has given us is people go to space. But
You really do feel that they are leaving the planet. I mean, you feel that
Yes.
they're kind of like ripping a hole in the sky.
Exactly.
It's extraordinary.
They're traveling now over 7,000 miles an hour already. 5.5 minutes into the flight.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Just incredible. And I mean, to see that column of it's just incredible. It's really rather remarkable. And it's different every time. You say.
because it depends on the wind, which way the wind is going, the light, the time of day. How long you can see the shuttle. It's always so every launch picture is going to be different, and I think you'll look at everyone a little differently now.
The closest sound I can think of